Hi guys, welcome back to Ralph's house. Here we paint from the heart. Well, we did this little sketch, we threw some paint on here, and that just scares me to death. What have we done? But that's something to paint into, and that's all I was concerned about. Now I added colors to my palette. I've got burn umber and raw umber, my two umbers. Raw umber is a great drawing color because it really doesn't cover a whole lot, but it gives you some dark, some low lying, gives you some depth. Ultramarine blue, phthalo green, crimson, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna. So I've just got colors on here. Let's get some colors in this picture. I'm a tourist. I love to paint colors. And we're going to blend these colors and make things work. Let's see what we can do with this. Now we're still big brush painting. Love big brushes. We'll do the detail work later. We're still drawing this picture. We haven't got to where we want to be yet. Let's get out. So we painted over that tree. I wasn't really worried about it. We still see that we had the outlines. We know about where we're going back with it. Let's reestablish our tree a little bit. Get my brush wet, put it on here, and I'm going to grab some of this raw umber. Now the beauty of this is a color that literally, as it goes on, but watch how quick it'll disappear. When you paint over other things, it just doesn't really, it's not a hard, abusive color. I love this color right here. It's a good for helping making, you want warm shadows, this is a good shadow color. It's not really going to cover up, see everything that's under it. Even though it's dark, you can still see everything we did under those colors before. We're going to reestablish that tree where we wanted it to go. We're just doing that with our umber. Roll your brush, carry some of those strokes on out there. A little more water, pick up some more of that umber. Let's just kind of roll that on down that tree. Smooth it out a little bit and carry your strokes like a tree would be. Try different strokes, different things. Does that see? We added a depth to that tree that we didn't have there a minute ago. Our tree is back. Carry some branches up in here. This is an apple tree, as we can tell. Apple trees, their branches come off low, they spread out. The farmer keeps them cropped pretty low to the ground because he don't have to climb that ladder to get the apples out of that tree. So keep your apples, trees, the limbs and branches, and don't be afraid to paint them in there. You got to have multiple limbs coming off of the tree. You never have just one or two limbs on a tree. There's our dark side there. And once I've established some of that, carry some strokes up here. So we kind of threw the trunk of that tree back in there. I can grab some burn umber, which is the darker of the two, and get my dark side in there. See, that's a lot more. It's more opaque where the shadows are. The bottom of that limb there. Just kind of mix it to the set. Gives me something to paint into, something to mix the two together. Let's carry that root coming out there. The dark area up here, the shaded side. You want on the shadowed side of the limbs. Let's keep it down there. Don't be afraid of getting dark. Got some dark areas. We haven't put the lights on yet either. We'll cut some lights back in there. Keep that kind of, and lose it. It's a tree. Kind of keep your strokes, look like tree strokes. They're not necessarily smooth strokes. They amble around everywhere. But see the difference in this color and this color? It gives you depth. You're adding more color. So we're just trying to carry this tree on up into here. Where all would it go? Different strokes, the shadow side, where would the shadows be on the back side of these limbs? Now one thing I want to do, and I love split rail fences, but we're going to throw a little bit of split rail in here too. We're going to see if we can't develop something back here going around to develop a road or something back in here just to add some conversation piece back in here. Let's get a split rail fence going right behind that tree. See how it's coming out there? And then over there it's going to go around that side to that bucket. Now I don't care if we're really painting to the bucket a little bit because we haven't done the bucket yet. So I can lose that line just by doing that, a few strokes. So now we throw a little split rail fence back in there. Get my raw sienna. Let's carry that thing on back here into the background a little bit. So just give yourself some strokes. And I'll use some of that raw sienna on the back side of that bucket. So when you got a good color, carry it around some different places. Inside the bucket a little bit. Again, develop some lines. Don't be afraid to pull those strokes. Let your brush strokes show through. That's going to help develop things as you go. I like that. I'll carry some of it to the grass. We say we didn't cut grass strokes. We haven't even started that stuff yet. We're just trying to get something on here to paint into. So we kind of got a little split rail fence going back here behind this. We're wanting to develop this picture into something, into something we might want to put onto a canvas. We've got to get this idea out and make all this work. Back there in the background somewhere, back in here, there was another tree way back here in the background. This tree was growing out through here, and so we'll cut some of that in there. So we'll have some, well, that tree is going to be. Just paint it in there. We're just trying to get some paint on it. We're trying to establish where we want these areas to be. And we know that the sun's coming from over there, so your shadow's going to be lower over here on this side. And so we're still dressing this up. We're still figuring out where we want everything to go. Tell you what, come back in a few minutes. We're going to see how far we can carry this. Y'all come.